Okay, everybody, welcome to our Friday, May 19th, 2017 Premier Minerals International video update. We're excited to be able to show you the next installment in our progress. As you guys have noticed, I'm sure, through the PMI chat room and through email or text or whether it's just one-on-one communication between yourselves and administration, that things are starting to ramp up now. This is something we've been excited for a long time. We knew that, going into this with our initial vision back in late 2016, that we were going to get to this point. We've been, like I said, in past webinars, and of course, Jason and Armando can corroborate, and many of you who have been with us for many years can also corroborate that, when we set our minds to a certain objective, we've been able to achieve that objective, and we're just blessed and excited to share with you guys our latest milestone, which is getting into Garlo and being able to perform at a very high level in terms of creating a mechanized mining operation. Most of you guys that are on the call tonight, and if you're not involved in our PMI chat room or don't have the information available to you as of yet, we have been in Garlo now for just, well, a little under a week, or I should say a little over a week, and we've been clearing out the property, getting it prepared for our mining site to become, fully operational, to remove the sands and get down to our gravels, and to start our pay gravel, and to begin washing for our in-ground assets. What some of you may not understand or may not know is that the last 3, 4, or 5 years that we've been in Liberia for about 6 or 7 years now in total, and for the last several years, we've been doing exploration on this particular site in Garlo. We first started with our diamond flipping program a few years back, where we would actually be buying diamonds that our various partners, and we call these partners the way we were structured was we had a co-op program, various Class C artisanal miners that would be digging by hand in various locations in Garlo, would present us with their diamonds, and they come to our compound in Monrovia, which is where our headquarters is, our compound, and they would showcase the diamonds that they unearthed to us. And if we had enough capital reserves to buy the diamonds that they gave to us, we would be able to buy the diamonds, go through the Kimberley process, go through, get our exportation documents, pay our 3% export tax in Liberia, and ship them back to the States to be put on consignment and ultimately to be sold for profit. We were averaging about 52% profit with this business model, but what became problematic for us was that we didn't have the purchasing power to be able to buy all the diamonds that were presented to us. We had a significant amount of really high quality diamonds, VVS1, VVS2 grade diamonds, with low to no fluorescence and very minimal inclusions. We had very good diamonds available to us, and we just didn't have the purchasing power to be able to buy the diamonds. So that really hindered us in our ability to become to grow and to become profitable. And we decided late last year that it was time to consider our efforts to work with our co-ops, our various co-ops that we had with our partners throughout the region, and we wanted to work with them to establish a mechanized mining operation, and that's how you really grow. You know, we actually utilized these various co-ops to identify which sites would be advantageous for us to move forward in growing that area from a hand mining site, a developmental site, into a full-blown, full-fledged mechanized mining site. And the good news is, and what makes this opportunity so impressive and so exciting, is that we were able to extract over almost $2 million worth of diamonds by hand out of this location in Garlo over the past few years, and we did so under some pretty extreme circumstances. You know, I'm sure many of you know and are aware of the Ebola situation that we had to deal with here a few years ago. Well, Liberia was the epicenter for Ebola, and it was a serious situation where, you know, it was considered a possible global pandemic, and I'm sure many of you remember the seriousness of that situation. Well, you know, while we were all quote unquote freaked out over here in the U.S., we were actually in the epicenter of it all in Liberia, putting our very lives on the line for our investors. We've raised almost $20 million for our mining operation in totality over the past 7 years. So we're not a new organization. We're not a startup company. This is just a new site that we're developing now, and we're creating an angel investment opportunity for this particular site. But you know, we have a tremendous amount of experience in country, and throughout that experience during the Ebola situation, you know, like I said before, we put our lives on the line, and I get my hat goes off to our mount. I say this many times. I talked to him about this earlier today, and this is as real as it gets. I just to have somebody out in another country, and you know, he's obviously raised here in the States in the comforts of the U.S., and as a part of our team, went out to Liberia and put his very life on the line during that type of a situation, a crisis situation where people were dying all around him, you know. And not only did we stay in that country while everybody else was leaving, we ramped up our efforts, and we brought in Dr. John Oliphant, his medical staff and team from New York. We built a medical facility from the ground up. We poured footers, built a medical facility, like I said, from the ground up. We partnered with Christian Ministry and brought over an ambulance. We delivered medical supplies. We really endeared ourselves to the people of that country, because our heart was not just to have for monetary gain. It was to do something good for the people in that country. We knew it was a depressed area, and we felt very good about helping these people through our NGO, our non-governmental organization, and we've made a lot of very good relationships, developed a lot of good relationships during that situation. You know, we've dug fresh water wells. We delivered thousands of pounds of rice. We have delivered food, livestock. We've given monetary aid, school books, clothing. There's so much that we have done for the community, and they have not forgotten that. And we have something very special in that country, and we're excited to be able to deliver to that not only the opportunity from a monetary standpoint, but also to have it shored up by the relationships that we've built due to our tenacity and our heart for, you know, really helping the people in Liberia. So all of that has been set forth, and we have a real opportunity here, to be able to accomplish what we accomplished through all those hardships, and to be able to export almost $2 million worth of product, in-ground assets, during that type of situation. That really speaks volumes as to what the potential is moving forward in terms of what we can do if we build and create a mechanized mining operation in that region, and really get things going. And we're really excited, guys, to be able to bring this opportunity to you. A lot of you have seen through video evidence of our growth. Again, we've been there for 7 years. We have a gold mining operation in another region of the country. We are blessed to be able to procure a joint venture licensing agreement with the Jones brothers in this particular claim 19 that's in Garlo. And while we're growing and developing claim 19, we're going to begin processing our claim 50 site by stockpiling gravels to carry us through the rain season, which is going to be upon us here in a couple of months. And like I said in my writings to you guys in the chat room, if you guys have seen that, our duplicity and the multiplication of our processes is what really is attractive, in my opinion, to this whole this offering. We have 60 claims alone in Garlo. That doesn't include the other opportunities that are given to us, that have been given to us by the country, the people in the country, through various outlets, whether it be in the mining sector or other various business models that have been presented to us. But right now, obviously, the focus at hand is Claim 19, which, again, we've had very, very much success in extracting and exporting. So we have, where many people said, hey, you guys can't go into that country. I remember our geologist told us when we went and sat down with Watts, Griffiths, and McCout in Toronto. They're one of the most world-renowned, they're actually the premier geological firm in the country, or in the world, I should say, out of Toronto, Canada. And they basically told us, guys, we have good news and bad news for you. The good news is you're sitting on some of the most soil-rich land in all of Africa. The bad news is nobody gets in there. And once we explained our situation and how we had the relationship to the relationships to get us in there and to be able to succeed, they were very, very excited about our ability to win and to be able to accomplish what we need to accomplish there in terms of extracting those in-ground assets. So it was very, very exciting. It's been exciting for us. There's been a lot of challenges along the way, but the bottom line is, guys, we have a real opportunity here with our Garlo site. And what I'd like to do now is give you a video update of where we stand now, from where we came up with the concept of let's stop buying diamonds with the limited resources we have to buy diamonds, even though we have the ability to sell them at a great margin, at a 52 to 53% profit margin, buying them at a wholesale. Now we can dig the diamonds with just our overhead cost, and through multiplicity of our processes, duplicate and multiply those profit margins in a much greater fashion, because our overhead is much lower of an expense than what we would pay for those diamonds if we paid for them at a wholesale cost. So we're very excited about being able to dig for our own diamonds, being able to unearth what, like I said earlier in the chat room today, 60 miles away from us, they unearthed a $200 million diamond. That's obviously nothing to sneeze at. We have a couple of large mining organizations, some of which are public, or I'll give you an example, Oris Mining, which is a publicly traded company on the Toronto Stock Exchange. They raised about $900 million, and Jason, I'm sure, can attest to this. He's seen it himself as the trucks drive by our compound, that they're smelting dory bars the size of, our arms. And, they're pulling out and extracting millions of dollars in both gold and diamonds on a daily basis. The in-ground assets are there. We just need the capital resources behind us to really take advantage of those in-ground assets. We have the experience. We've been there for 7 years. We have the relationships both within the government at the highest level, from the president of the country all the way down to the local chiefdoms. We just have tremendous relationships that we've built over the years by doing the right thing, by trying to work through adversity, and give even when we didn't have the resources to give. And they've taken notice of that, and they've been our biggest supporter, biggest champions, to make sure that we survive in that country, even though we don't have $900 million behind us per se. So it's very, we have an opportunistic posture with this offering. We can't thank you guys enough as angel investors for those of you that have already engaged with us to help us get to where we are. We set out to do something in December. We have achieved our milestone of getting there as of May, and our next milestone is to get our wash plant up there to start washing the gravels that we've been digging, our pay gravels. So what I'm going to do now is I'll turn it over to Armando if he wants to kind of preempt the video that he recorded live from Liberia just a few days ago. Our partner Armando Costabile is in Liberia currently overseeing the progress of our company, your investment dollars, and that's where we're at right now. So if Armando, if you want to take it from here to just kind of do the preamble for the video, everybody can watch the video, and then we can open up for Q&A afterwards. And I appreciate everybody listening to my long, drawn-out intro.
All right, so just let me say, welcome to everybody who's on the call. The video is a trip I took earlier this week. Went out to do an assessment. I was obviously going out to the site to see the progress that we've made on the site, and more importantly was to inspect a ferry and then a road connecting the ferry crossing the St. Paul River to a road that leads us into Libya, which is a community that's nearby to where our mining site is. So the video is really just my day of going out, assessing the situation with the road, the ferry, and where we were progress-wise on the site, so that I can show everyone what we've been doing. I think Mike covered a lot of ground there in the beginning. The video's a bit long, so I won't take up too much time. We can watch the video and then kind of catch up on questions after that. All right, we're here. This is the crossing point. So we just drove here, asphalt, dirt road. It was short, but here's a look at the ferry. Crossing the St. Paul, and that'll take us in close to Libya. And yeah, so we'll have maybe a half an hour bike ride on the other side, and that'll take us right about 20 minutes from Libya. So if this works out and we can straighten that road out, this is night and day difference. These guys are going to carry us. There you go. A good look, a ferry down the St. Paul, up to St. Paul. Kind of see what this ferry can carry. All these bikes, all these people. We'll see. All right, we're on the ferry. There's the guy cranking. Manpower, winch on each side, guide cable. This guy's carrying our fuel. 36 gallons on a motorcycle. You gotta be shitting me. The truck could barely carry it. This guy's carrying it on a motorcycle. But this ferry, look at the outside of the ferry. So, this thing is strong. It's gonna more than carry the Renault loaded with truck. It can carry 7.5 tons. We can only carry 2 tons of fuel on that, so more. That's it. Check on the ferry. Road from the ferry. Yeah. On the bike. I was taking a little. Oh! All right, here we are on site. It's Tuesday. It's Amos getting it done. Morris back here. So, give you a good look at the pit. We're standing on the same bank we were on last time, so this is where those trees were up. You can see everything is completely open now. Totally wide open. Wide open. This front part, or actually, let's do this. This shelf you see down below, this is where the dam wall was last time we were here. So Edwin's pushed that all the way back because the gravel runs into it, and they didn't have it open enough. So there's the 330 working. It's got his bug net over it. There's some huge horse flies out here. They're still draining the water. We didn't get the pump to run until last night, Monday. It had an issue with the starter. We had to go grab it off the other pump up in Henrytown, and some transportation issues, but they've been working along the bank anyway, so it's not really holding them up. So it's been running for almost 20 hours, so there was a ton of water. I mean, the water was up just under that tree line last time we were here, so we really grossly underestimated how deep the water was and how quick that pump could pump it out. So it'll be by the morning they'll be looking at the sand. This is here you're looking at is some of the start of the sand layer. You can see the sand granules there, so it drops down a bit. This area up in front is going to be the deepest area of gravel, and then it's going to run off that way and that way. So they are just really getting it done. Really getting it done. Unreal. I mean, it doesn't even look like the same place. Just a couple days with Edwin's know-how on the machine and opening this place up. It's a huge world of difference. I mean, now it actually looks like. Now it looks like a site. Now it looks like we can get some work done. If you remember before, all this bank was all still overgrown and overburdened onto the river. Nothing was opened up, so you know, the Jones brothers are pretty blown away by what we've been able to do here. You know, our machine compared to their little machine, and then just the know-how on the machine of Edwin and what he's doing. They're just, I mean, blown away. So here's a look at it from the other side. So that dam is totally reinforced. That's really going nowhere. He's clearing that side bank. He'll clear up over there. Again, this is the main, right here, straight between me and the machine is the main target for the fall off of the gravels. The wash plant will go, I'll show you where the wash plant will go. This is just so efficient, such efficient work. I mean, really, they're just very efficient, stayed on task. We avoided running out of fuel. I mean, they were down to the last few gallons when I got here. I brought a barrel with me that you saw that we transported on the bikes. Tango 4 is behind us with another 6 barrels, so they came close to running out, but they made it. They kept operating. I made it on time with the fuel. All right, so here's the pit. The gravel will come out, and the wash plant will go back up in this area, up on that hill, and we'll use this slope for our grade, for all the jigs. And we'll pull water out from the main lofa to run the wash plant. There's Kama with the pump. He got it going. So there's just a little bit more water there. Should be dry by, they were just in there testing the depth. It was about waist high, so not too much more water. Sometime tonight it'll be dried up. And pulling sand in the morning. So, making great progress. Great progress. This is amazing. It's right where it needs to be. You know, you lose a couple days with a key starter on the pump. You know, some various other stuff. You know, there's not much we can do about that. You know, it's the distance, 6 hours to get out here. Any way you slice it up. Let's get a look from this side. So amazing. I might try to go up on this dam and maybe try to get a split screen of what it was like the other day and what it's like now. You can see they reinforced the dam some more, just to be sure we're strong. And there you can see it flowing over on that side, majority of it flowing here. We'll probably open this channel up a bit more because we're going to try to keep it running this direction even once we have the gravels out all through the dry season or the rainy season, and only so that we can contain the amount of flooding up in here. So if we can keep the river running around, then we don't have to worry about flooding in this area where our wash plant will be. So you can see our wash plant will be up on that hill. We'll cut in here a little bit, let water run in here. We'll pump up with the other 6-inch pump to feed that, and we'll keep all rainy season keep it diverting this way. Pump is jamming. Sounds good. Running nice. It's got a lot of work to do. I'm going to try to get the other 6-inch pump down here as soon as I can, just as a backup. It has a little bit of work we have to do to it. Nothing too much, but we'll try to get it out here as soon as possible. There's just so many things, you know, we're so limited on the trucks and running back and forth. So many things that have to happen. You know, we try to get everything done as quickly as we can, but another look from this angle. So, I mean, completely different area. We also got clearance for the dump truck So, you know, once we started really getting down into the nitty gritty, so Amos is going to go up to Henrytown for the dump truck in the next day or two and pull that out along with the backhoe. We won't bring the backhoe to the site, we'll park it out on the road. But we will bring the truck here so we don't have to worry about slinging the gravel 2 or 3 times with the excavator. Just so we can get everything rocking. So again, here's that bypass. You saw that in the last video, but since I'm going this way, I figure I'll do it. Yeah. Amazing. So great. So great. So, another look from this side. Kind of see the difference of the area opened up. Dry this out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now it's looking. Now it's looking like an ESM mining site. Wide open. I mean, he'll just be able to sling gravels out with no problem. He's really, I mean, Edwin is really amazing on the machine. I mean, just knows what he's doing, understands what the gravels are doing below the surface, understood that the pit was way too small. It was just overcrowded onto the banks, and there was just no way that it was gonna, no way he was gonna be able to get as deep as he needed to without the sides caving in or anything like that, without it being open wide. So you know, he recognized it right away, started moving dams back, opened up the walls, and you know, nothing will be left here. No stone unturned. All that gravel's coming out. Oh, such a great feeling. Such a great feeling. As I'm checking something on the machine, there's Edwin over there out of the machine. Morris, JK, Amos. So that's a look at it. So we're 3 steps in the right direction. That's all we can ask for. Water's almost down. Pump is running, pit's open, wide open, so regardless, even if the pump was running the other day, it wouldn't have mattered too much because Edwin had to tidy these banks back. So, you know, technically everything's right where it needs to be. They're working hard, you know, no great living or sleeping conditions, but everyone's fighting through it, putting everything together the best we can. Really, all parts of it are, you know, we're making it up on the fly and just coming up with everything the best we can. But so look at the 330 engine purring along. It's running great. She's given no problems. See some hydraulics from when they blew the line the other day. Tracks are looking really nice and tight. They haven't slacked at all. I mean, this thing is just, it's just huge. Such a great machine. Perfect machine for doing this. Alright, so there's the pit. That's the update. Yeah, so another look at it. Morris hiking around up there. JK and Amos. Tell me something. Tell me what's happening here.
Well, I think you can see for yourself, but to tell you more.
Yeah.
This is 2019 survey Garlo.
Yep.
And you can see the joint operation now. The guy in charge of the machine trying to stabilize the pit. And he's already done with it. Hopefully tomorrow got his water down. We'll be going down. And hopefully Tuesday 4 and 5, we are hoping to start pulling gravel out.
Yeah.
Okay, so the work is good, as you can see it. Progress has been made
Amazing.
in a very short, period of time,
Amazing.
and we are really appreciate with these men. I think he's the main brain,
That's it.
behind this job.
Yeah.
They work, unbelievable. I'm just overwhelmed, from what I see,
Right.
going on where we have a whole lot of problems with this place working here for the past 2 years, and a whole lot, I say, from the local threats, from them that they are coming to forcibly open up the water by traditional means or whatever means they have, complaining from here and there to the mining authority, government coming to the mining ministry of lands and mining authority, putting pressure on us to open up and do this work. So we still stood the ground, we kept on talking, and then I think you are here. You are the best man to answer the rest of what is happening here.
Now
So
this is happening.
Because of your coming in, we see a great change,
Yeah.
and a relief in the work. We got to hope now that at least we didn't work here for 2 years for nothing. If we have left this place because of the smaller mission that we have, the 219,
Right.
it really doesn't have the force like what you see the 330 have. So, and the guy also being so experienced in the work,
Yeah.
he came in and saw it, decided to stabilize the entire work, as you can see it.
Yeah, Edwin,
So,
amazing
first of all,
operator.
you open up the trench, the water wider and deeper.
Yeah.
So there's no more threat from the water threatening, here or rising up from the front, whereby there will be a whole lot of complaint from the locals again.
Right.
So I'm very hopeful that we are willing to work within the time frame given to us in the operation. So, this is
Amos, what do you got to say? Thank you for the work.
Well,
First.
I thank God for the work, and we've been working hard to get here. And today, God has made it. We're here. You see the job and how far it gone. And I pray that within 1 week time, when you get by, you will see gravel on shore and things will be okay.
Oh yeah. That's it right there. Great job. Unbelievable job. Great teamwork. That's the best thing. They all work together, all respect each other, all do what they have to do, let the other man do his job, let me do my job, and that's how great things get done, as a team together. So happy. Unbelievable. Look at this place. Wide open. Ready to go.
I guess people they're gonna hear this place.
This something great's coming from here.
Something great is gonna come.
All right, that's it.
Great video update. And I'm sure everybody can notice, as Armando outlined and as we all visually saw, what a difference between the mining pit today versus just when was our last webinar? Was it within a week or so?
Yeah, less than a week ago.
Yeah, in that short of a time period, we were able to accomplish all that, guys. For those of you that have been with us for a while, and when we have the resources, we don't screw around. And I just hats off to our staff, to our team in Liberia. Hats off to Armando for being out there, boots on the ground. And our team is so committed to winning and to taking care of business, taking care of our investors, moving forward in a positive way. And man, if that doesn't get you guys excited, I don't know what will. We've prided ourselves on showing video evidence of our forward progress. And at times it's been slow because we've lacked the resources. Imagine if we had the capital resources to get our dozers in there, to get our articulating dump trucks, to make sure our wash plants were set up, which is happening anyways, regardless. We have the wherewithal at this point in time to get our wash plant up there. Actually, Armando, can you give us a status on the M916 in terms of how we're going to be able to get our wash plant up there?
Yeah, the repair on the M916 should be done over the weekend. Then that'll be rolling. A couple more adjustments to make to our trailer before it can start carrying equipment, but it'll be there. It'll be able to bring up the plant in plenty of time. You'll see in when we do the next update that now
that pit is totally dry. 75% of the sand is gone over the gravel, so the next one that everyone sees is going to be, it's going to look drastically different than what we're looking at right there, because now we're on gravels. Gravels will start to come out. I know it was a little bit tough with the video lagging, so I know we'll have the link, so if people want to watch it without the stuttering of the video, and so you can hear the audio clearly. But to just reiterate what Edwin was doing, Edwin's been with us for about 4 years now, and he's one of the most amazing operators I've ever seen. He really understands what he's doing. He understands excavating a mine, and the way he opened everything up and staged it is so beneficial, because when we get in there on those gravels, we're going to be the better part of 30 to 40 feet deep, and maybe beyond in some areas, just in pure gravel layers. So it's going to be a fairly deep excavation, and if he wouldn't have opened that up, we would have ran into a lot of trouble down the road. So the site and the pit is perfectly prepared right now for the deeper excavations to begin now that all the sands are cleared off. We had a little bit of a hiccup today, or late yesterday, with a track pin on the excavator. One of the pins sheared off, but that'll be repaired by late morning tomorrow.
Yeah,
So
and now imagine the wash plant being set up, like we do a video update next week, and the wash plant is set up, and we're starting to wash our gravels. The Claim 19 pit is looking more and more like a professional, commercial, mechanized mining operation, and then now we begin cutting into our Claim 50
right,
site.
and that's the big part, because we probably, I would say, within the next 10 to 14 days, that pit won't have any gravel in it. It'll all be on shore and up on the bank.
Great, great visual right there. Just so in case anybody hasn't seen the PowerPoint who's on the webinar this evening, that's what our wash plant's going to look like when it's completely staged at Claim 19. Great visual there, Jay. That brings home the bacon right there. And we're going to show you video evidence of that as we continue to move forward. And we're going to duplicate this process over and over and over again. We have 60 claims available to us, guys, in Garlo alone. We're not even talking the rest of the country. We're just talking in Garlo. When we tell you this opportunity is bananas, I mean, it's the cat's meow. So
yeah, the resources on the Garlo, and how much, you talked about it earlier, and how, the years of exploration on that, and all the work we've done, and it's just, I think it's going to be beyond amazing when everyone starts to see the gravels being washed and what that place is going to produce. And it's really going to sink home what we're talking about with this duplication, working in multiple areas. That's when this really starts to pick up and launch, and that's where our vision is for everything, and it's going to be remarkable.
Well, and again, I just reiterate, we're not newbies at this. We're not a startup organization. We've gone through some challenges. As we discussed with Ebola, we had a partnership separation that led to arbitration, which was to the benefit of us as an administration and ultimately to you guys as investors. It's very difficult to operate a business with 7 principal partners that are not on the same page. Me, Jason, and Armando are 3 guys that have known each other for almost 20 years, that think independently but yet act collectively. We operate of one accord. We consult each other when we make decisions. We are very careful about how we move. We're methodical in our movements, and we care about people in general. We care about you guys as investors. We care about the people in Liberia. We make sure that our movements are in the best interest of everybody involved in our operation. And that is something you can't put a price tag on. You guys have visual evidence of our character and our growth, and ultimately your investment dollars at work, which does not happen in most investment vehicles. You don't get that opportunity. With us, with this opportunity, you guys are going to have that. If you want to fly to Liberia, like you just said, George, in the chat room, you know, you're going to have that opportunity to fly to Liberia. We've had many investors fly to Liberia, and they're so impressed with what we've done. You know, they'll cut us a check for sure because they understand and see the opportunity. It's all about growth, but doing it the right way. And we feel like we've really got a handle on doing it the right way. And we really care about you guys. We're thankful for all of you that have come on board as angel investors. I can't say it enough, because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to be where we are. Obviously, you need us as much as we need you. And we're excited about the future. You know, we're willing to perform and be and operate. Let's look at the sacrifice and the asset that you guys have with myself, with Jason and Armando. We're three guys that are willing to leave our families, leave the comfort of the United States and all of its amenities, and go to a country like Liberia and build something and grow something that is out of our realm of comfort per se, but at the end of the day, we have the bigger picture in mind. We have the larger scope, the vision, that if we can really change the culture in Liberia and turn that country around, we can affect hundreds of thousands of lives within the country, hundreds of thousands of lives out of the country, based on the trickle-down economic effect of the investment growth within our portfolio, all of the jobs that we create in country, the taxable income base that we create in Liberia, the families that we feed, just the self-worth that we give people that have been hand-to-mouth for so long. Like I talked to Armando this morning, we talked about we're breaking a generational curse per se. And we've had a lot of opposition along the way because the enemy does not want to see us succeed when we're talking about breaking generational curses. But lo and behold, we have fought the good fight, and we are still there through thick, through thin, through life and death circumstances. And I cannot put enough emphasis, whether you guys, I really want you guys to internalize the fact that Armando was in Liberia during the epicenter of Ebola. People were dying left and right around him. They were stacking dead bodies into pickup trucks around him while he was putting his life, his very life, on the line for the people of Liberia and for our investors. If that doesn't speak to blood, sweat, and tears, I don't care how much money you have invested, your personal money invested into your own business venture, you put your life on the line for something, that's worth more. And I will always tip my hat and always have a debt of gratitude to my brother Armando and to Jason, you know, who are out there. I was back here in the States during that time, so I can't toot my horn in that respect, and that's okay. It is what it is. But at the same time, man, you got to give credit where credit's due, and I just, wow, it's an awesome thing to know that that's how much we care about growing this business from a monetary standpoint and from a humanitarian standpoint, and that should make you guys feel comfortable as well. I've tried to reiterate it many times. I hope you guys internalize it, that that's our character, and that's our pursuit, and we're not going to stop. You know, we're ride and die guys, and we're not going to stop until someone says you can't breathe anymore. And you know, we're in another country doing amazing things, and you know, you guys have an opportunity to be a part of that. And this thing, guys, by all appearances, hey, if you can't see the potential, if you can't see the growth just in what happened in the last few months on a shoestring budget, you guys just can't see. And I know that's not the people we have in this business. I know everybody on this call can see exactly what's happened here. And that's why you're on this call, because you do have that vision. And it's going to be exciting to develop personal relationships with you moving forward, with every one of you on this call as we move forward into prosperity and into growth within our company. So I'll get off my soapbox here for a moment. And Jay, if you want to add something.
Yeah, certainly. Just to kind of give everybody a little perspective with what we've been able to accomplish since January, since we started to move forward with this Garlo joint venture. With the funds that we've been able to bring in, we've accomplished more during this process in getting access to the mining site, clearing the mining site, opening up the pit, preparing for pay gravel excavation, and are staged. Once we receive another hit of cash coming in, we will complete the move of the mineral processing plant, get it installed. That we don't expect to take more than about 2 weeks for the move and the installation, and we're actually commercially running possibly before this month is out. We were able to accomplish that on a shoestring budget equivalent to what we did for our first gold mining site in Henrytown back in 2012. That took us millions of dollars to accomplish. We've gotten so efficient. Our staff are all original staff that were with us from the beginning, and we just have this process nailed down. Armando, Amos, Edwin, the rest of the executive management team that's in Liberia. We've done this multiple times now. We know how to set up sites. We know how to get them in operation. So we're just really asking at this point that we hopefully have proven what we can do on a shoestring. Let's get beyond the shoestring and let's bring this thing across the finish line. Let's get into production, and once we are, none of us are ever going to look back. At that point, it's all about duplicating the process. And the beautiful thing on Garlo, we have so many claims, is we are now centralized, so we're not running logistics, running all over the country. We've been taking the steps. We believe so much in Garlo that the equipment that is being moved here is actually from our Yungaya site on the Lofa River. That was the picture we showed earlier. Due to our separation with our ex-partners, the political fallout that they left behind for the Yungaya site, it just made much more sense moving forward that we have a fresh start. And that fresh start, the desire for the fresh start, the need for a fresh start is really what has brought this opportunity to be available to everybody who hasn't been with us since 2010. We have over 500 limited partners that have invested near $20 million into our infrastructure in Liberia, into the development of our relationships, from the government to the local mining site, in the communities that we work in, the equipment assets that we have acquired as part of our infrastructure, the veteran team that we have in place, and we believe in this so much that we took our very first site, our Henrytown site, and we've begun to wind that down so that Armando is our chief operating officer. can have full attention towards the success and the expedient establishment of the Garlo mining site. We presented that to our limited partners that own 40% of our company, Earth Source Minerals, back at our annual meeting, and everybody got behind that move. It was in the best interest of them and the project as a whole to have a concerted, very laser-focused emphasis on making Garlo produce, because we know what we have there. We've done so much exploration on the Garlo since 2013. We've mentioned it before, our own test pit of 100 tons, which we dug by hand. We produced 800 gem quality carats. That's an amazing average of 8 gem quality carats per ton of soil. That's just off the scale. But what really blows it away is what the Jones brothers that we have joint ventured with on Claim 19 were able to do on a much smaller pit where we're working now. They were able to produce over 5,000 gem quality carats, also by hand. And the video that that we showed you, where we opened up that pit, that's and Armando, you could probably talk about this a little more. That is a discovered dipper in the Garlo River flow that they were able to discover. And in general, diamonds and gold are heavier than the other elements. So if you have a dip in the riverbed where the bedrock drops down, the heavier elements get trapped inside of that dipper, and that's a very large contributing factor why they were able to pull over 5,000 gem quality carats in less than 100-ton hand excavation. Their average.
That came on the upside of the dipper, so that's not even it wasn't even in the area where it drops off.
So yeah, so we're just going to get better results the deeper and farther we go,
and larger product usually.
Yeah, that was the other thing too. We averaged in our exploration, our 100-ton dig, which was not on the river itself. It wasn't on the riverbank. It was actually up the bank a ways. As Armando was tracing the diamond concentration, looking for its source. We were averaging 2 carat, 3 carat, 1 carat type sizes per stone. They were averaging 4 or 5 carats, and they had 20 carats and above in their 5,000 carats. So super excited that this opportunity opened for us to joint venture with them in Claim 19. Logistically, it saved us 4 to 6 weeks of us still preparing our own site, which we would be in the middle of right now. They had already progressed their site far enough where they already had their access road in. They had already diverted the Garlo. They had their basic dam up, and their equipment died on them. The equipment that they purchased from the proceeds of the 5,000 carats they produced the previous dry season by hand, that allowed them to start to mechanize their site. When their equipment went down, that gave us the ability to basically save the site. We're coming up on rainy season very soon here, and once rainy season hits, most likely without our help, that dam would have been washed out, and all of their profits that they put in to further develop this site would have been wasted. They would have had to have started all over this next dry season to reestablish a dam and do all that work again. So it was mutually beneficial to both parties. It allowed us to get to pay gravels within weeks instead of a month, month and a half, and actually start to commercially produce on a wonderful find that they have on their Claim 19. Once the excavator is finished pulling these pay gravels, we expect maybe another half a month to a month of excavation. Once that stockpile is complete on Claim 19, we'll already have our mineral wash plant operating, so we're already in commercial production. And while that plant is washing those stockpiles, it could take us 2 to 3 months to do it. That whole time, the excavator will drive across the proverbial street to our Claim 50, which is very close, finish punching in our access road, clear our site, and start doing our inland excavation and stockpiling all before rainy season, so that we have enough stockpile waiting for our wash plant as soon as we wrap up on Claim 19. Even if we're in the middle of the rainy season, it doesn't matter. It'll be easy to tear down the wash plant and relocate it over to Claim 50, even if we're in torrential rains. It's not a far move, so we can accomplish that. And since the stockpiles will be waiting for us on Claim 50, once we complete the relocation of the wash plant, it'll probably take us a week or two. We're back up immediately running our stockpiles on Claim 50 for the rest of the rainy season. So we'll be coming into the dry season with great cash flow being produced from our sites, and the ability to continue that momentum as we roll into the dry season. And our intention is that the funds that we're bringing in now to complete our capital goal for the joint venture, which roughly we have about $700K left to go in our $1 million capital goal, we don't need much more of that to be in production on Claim 19. We just need to move our wash plant and get it operational, and then start stockpiling as much diesel at that site as we can, so when rainy season hits, we're basically self-contained on that site. We'll have the fuel to run, everything's set up, and we just keep going. So whatever funds that we don't need to use through the rainy season, which should be a majority of it, we'll be able to roll that into further wash plant acquisition and more excavation equipment, so we can get that ordered as we're coming out of rainy season and have it arriving in Liberia very early in the dry season, so that we immediately can start next dry season with replication of this site. So now we will have 2 mining sites producing. That, obviously the more soil we can run, the more minerals we're going to unearth and separate out. So our cash flow increases, which means profits increase. But also, once you start duplicating, we've now diversified the process. So if we have something where like a wash plant goes down for maintenance, or we have some other issues on one team, it doesn't mean that we stop producing. The second team is picking up the slack and continuing the cash flow, and then we just keep growing it from there and start working down the Garlo River, opening up additional sites. So that's our vision, that's our goal, that's where we're heading. Our toes are literally across the finish line here. We can taste it. It's happening. Nothing's stopping us at this point. We need to accelerate this, and the only way to accelerate it is with lifeblood, and lifeblood of any endeavor is cash flow. So we need more contributions coming in to propel us over the finish line and get us to where we need to go. Those that are new coming in, your risk can't get any more mitigated than it is. We have investors with us for 7 years. We have those that came in as joint venture partners in January, moving forward. At this point, the mitigation of risk and our ability to accomplish what we set forth is as good as it's going to get. And at this point, any further sitting on the fence waiting to see, well, let's see him get the equipment there. Well, let's see him having some of the first diamonds come off. If you wait to that point, you're going to miss out. If you wait for that to see the equipment working, it's going to delay how long it takes us to get the equipment working, which pushes us closer to rainy season. And those that wait to see the equipment work, we don't need any more joint venture partners at that point. We'll be able to self-fund internally from the gold and diamonds we're producing. So encourage everybody, now's the time.
Well said, Jay. One of the cool things about our model is that as we're taking in capital and utilizing that investment capital to buy more machinery to grow our business, that machinery is being used as collateral to protect your investment. So it's kind of a win-win situation where right now, currently, we have about $2 million plus in yellow machines that we have, that we own free and clear as a company. There's no liens, we have title to all of it. There's nothing's encumbered. And we have $1 million goal that we set back in, I think, February to really enhance and further our business model and get us to where we need to go fast and efficiently and timely and so on and so forth. But everything that comes in cash-wise, whenever we buy equipment, that goes towards protecting your investment. So it's a really cool dynamic that we've created for you guys. As an investor, and I'm going to speak personally now. I personally, as an investor, have lost about $550 to $600,000 of monies that I invested in outside ventures. Obviously, not this what we're doing now. Whether it was a bogus pension fund or a trade platform, whatever it was that I invested in, and whatever it is that you guys have invested in personally, and have, whether it's an online opportunity or what have you, if it's been lost, I know, speaking from my own personal experience, that I never had access to the day in, day out happenings of the investment vehicle that I invested in. I trusted the administration. I trusted the vehicle. I trusted the people that were working my capital to get me to the finish line that they had advertised. And at the end of the day, I lost $550,000 personally. So I know what it's like to lose that kind of money. Some of you guys on this line or on the webinar know what it's like to lose that kind of money. Others have lost smaller amounts of money, but in ratio to what you have or what you had, that was the equivalent. It's all relative, as they say. When we put this together, me, Jason, and Armando, 7 years ago, wow, it's amazing it's been that long. And actually, I have some cool video footage. I don't know if I'll have to review it, make sure. Well, anyway, let me digress. I do have some video footage of our first trip out to Liberia in 2010. It might be kind of cool to show that to you guys to see where we've come. Back then, we all decided collectively we need to make sure that nobody gets hurt. And when we move forward, we need to create an investment vehicle that is transparent, that people can understand. It may be high risk, which obviously Liberia is. I talked to Armando about this earlier today. Back in 2010, based on what we saw on the internet, we were scared to even go to Liberia. We didn't even think it was a safe place to even be. So we were like, do we really want to do this? But when we actually went there and did it, we found a people that were open arms to us, very accepting of us, and we looked at each other and said, this is possible. And then with our geologist backing us up in terms of the giving us the green light for creating a mechanized mining operation that would actually, create dividends for our investors, then we knew that we had to give it a shot. It was a door that was being opened for us. So we created this investment vehicle. We've given you guys transparency like I don't believe anybody else can really show you. I don't care if you're investing in the stock market or in any other business. You are not in the boardroom. You cannot see whether it's numbers on a screen, it's just numbers on a screen. What we're trying to show you guys is dirt under our fingernails. Armando, myself, I've been to Liberia many times. I will not boast the what's the word I'm looking for? The sacrifice that Armando or even Jason has put themselves under. You know, Jason was there last year. Jay, I think you were there for what, 8 months straight. So that's commitment. We've shown you guys video evidence of our movements, and look what happened from just last week to this week with one machine and a bilge pump, guys. If we have the resources behind us, we can be as big as Oris Mining. Oris Mining is, like we told you guys in the past, they are smelting dory bars of gold. Jay, explain the what they're doing, what you've seen as the trucks have driven by you when you were there. Give a visual of that from Oris Mining.
Well, Oris Mining, they're a publicly held company. You can pull them up on the internet. They're operating New Liberty Mine. They've changed their name as they joint ventured with another company that's been in Liberia forever. But you can easily find that online. If you want the link, we can send it to you. They've literally raised hundreds of millions of dollars to develop their New Liberty Mine, which is about 30 miles from our Henrytown site. It's probably 60 to 80 miles from our Garlo site, all right within that region. They did extensive coring, and so they progressed through alluvial mining, and they've now transitioned into low gold mining. As they transitioned into low gold mining, our compound, which is on the west side of Monrovia, it's the main thoroughfare out from the city heading to the west side of the country. And it was really late one night last year while I was there, and my brother Micah, he's in the picture that's being presented right now. He's on the right side with the black t-shirt and the camo hat. Micah's our operations manager. He's been with us since the beginning. We thought an earthquake was happening. Like, Liberia's never had an earthquake that we're aware of, and it's like the whole compound was shaking. And we ran out to the balcony, and lo and behold, massive, you can't even imagine how big they are, massive haul trucks, the tires of which are 2 times taller than an average man. A fleet of them, I think we counted 8, went rambling by in the middle of the night. It was like 3 in the morning, and heading up to the New Liberty site. They have massive infrastructure that they've put into their New Liberty site. The minerals are there. They're not the only company that does that. We have China Union, ArcelorMittal, Hummingbird, who's on the other side of the other side of the country, chasing massive lode gold finds, worth trillions of dollars. Also a public company. You can find this all on the net. So it's well established that the mineral resource is in West Africa. It's in Liberia. We're just across the border from Sierra Leone, who is much more developed than Liberia in the diamond sector. Massive companies pulling out kimberlite pipe mining for diamonds just across the border, maybe 200 miles, 150 miles from us. So, there's no dispute whatsoever that the minerals that we're going after are in abundance throughout West Africa and throughout Liberia. The picture on your screen right now, just to tell everybody, that is our diamond grease table. It's brand new. We haven't used it yet. We were bringing it in for the Yungaya site, and as the separation with our partners was going through, we did not want to take it out of the container, so we kept it in the shipping container. It's still in right now at our compound. Standing around the table, on the right side in the red is my daughter-in-law Olivia. She is married to my oldest son Ryan, who's in the blue right next to her. Ryan and Olivia are key staff members. They handle our finishing room. They started out in Henrytown at our gold mining site. That site, we won't get into all the details, but the alluvial gold at that site is very, very fine. It's called flour gold. And the equipment we were spec'd for mining our first site was not appropriate for flour gold and the high content of very fine soil and sand. So the two of them, through the scientific method, modeled a sluice. A sluice system is a long chute that allows gold, that water runs through and allows gold to drop down out of it and get captured into a matting system that holds onto the gold. They modeled a scale to our main trommel and sluice, the large scale commercial 125 ton per hour unit, and basically through trial and error through the scale model, they determined the correct feed rate, angle of the sluice, the water flow level, fill rate of the soil for maximum capture of that flour gold. So they were able to bring our capture rate initially, which was like 15–20%. They got it up at like 65–70% through that without any other changes except adjusting our equipment. And then they run the finishing room. So they do all the final separation of the gold, the diamonds, and take all the measurements, fill out all the log books, and they run that. Then behind Ryan on the right side in the black is Micah. He's my brother. He's brother number 4. I'm the oldest of 7. He's our operations manager. He was very instrumental in helping us figure out how do we punch our way through the jungle and establish mining sites 100 miles into dense jungle. So he helped establish the first Henrytown gold site and went through all that learning curve. So he's very instrumental. Behind him is also my brother Garrett. He's brother number 2. He's a pastor. You'll notice 3 people have light blue shirts in this picture. Those shirts are Our World Outreach, which is our NGO branch for what we do. They handle all of our outreach and such in Liberia. You can go to their website, ourworldoutreach.com. Garrett is also besides being a pastor and founder of Our World Outreach, he is also our general manager for Heritage Acquisitions Group. So he handles all of our 500 limited partners and takes care of them on a daily basis on the investment side. That's me in the back left, Jason. Then standing next to me on the left side is Dr. John Backus. He is president of Our World Outreach. He is also an early limited partner that invested considerably with us, and he oversees Our World Outreach. And then the closest on the left to us is Dave Cristoforo. Dave has been a limited partner with us very early on. He's one of our largest limited partners, and he is also the largest joint venture partner for Garlo. So him and his wife Trish have invested a lot into Garlo, and so he's very supportive. He's also on our advisory board that we have for Heritage and for EarthSource, as is Garrett. So Garrett and Dave are both on the advisory board. So that's everybody around that table. This is in Liberia at our compound, so this was taken last year. So you can see we had 2 of our investors visit us last year. We've probably had well over a dozen of our investors that have come to visit us, and they usually stay a couple days to a week. And anybody who comes and visits us in Liberia, they leave and are never the same again. The impact on their experience, what they see, and what we've developed over there is just mind-blowing. So that's that.
All right, Jay, thanks for sharing all of that. Guys, we've been on for about an hour and a half. Just going to kind of quickly, and it's 4 hours. I think it's what 11:30 in Liberia right now because Armando is in Liberia. Yeah. So and he's had a long day. He's had a long few. The last several days have been long for him. So we want to definitely make sure that he, you know, if he needs to get some sleep or whatever. We'll just kind of close up with this. Well, I'll close up with this, and then if you guys want to add something. Again, just thank you guys for believing in our offering. You know, some of you guys have been with us for a long time. Others are just looking at our offering for the first time. The offering is simply this, just to reiterate where we're at, you know, moving forward, where, you know, what our mindset is. You know, we're not selling a security, so we can't say you're going to make X amount in this time frame. But we will say to you guys that our goal is to give you guys a dividend which is really unlike no other investment vehicle that we have seen. We believe we can do this or come close to it based on empirical evidence, based on past performance, through just our diamond flipping program and what we were able to extract by hand. Now that we're adding the mechanized mining component, it really changes the dynamic of the vehicle. We're not promising anything, but we will say that what we would like to be able to do for all of our angel investors is provide you guys with a 20% return on your investment every 30 days. We have a 60-day grace period from the date that you deposit your initial from your initial deposit, and after that 60 days, and we believe based on everything that we've shared with you today that we'll absolutely be in production 60 days from now, that we'll be taking our in-ground assets. We have the ability to sell them in country, whether it's in something we haven't really talked about too much is we're not just dealing with diamonds, we also have gold at our at our fingertips here. So our processing plant will be able to process both gold and diamonds, and we have buyers for both in country. So we'll be able to sell both of our those in-ground assets at very good price points, and the margins are going to be satisfactory, obviously, to take care of the operation and then also take care of our angel investors. As Jason outlined earlier, as I've also talked about, the 20% ROI with a fully collateralized position, you know, again, we have almost a little over $2 million worth of assets that we own free and clear that we could sell in country. Within most of our equipment is very it's something that people want in the country. It's taken care of. We have as you saw, our 330 was operating. It's had its challenges with hoses and whatnot, but that's kind of status quo when you're talking about the heat and temperatures that you're dealing with in Liberia. But you know, for the most part, mechanically it runs very well. We have a 345 excavator, we have dozers, we have two articulating 250 dump trucks. We have over about $2 million worth of yellow machines, and we're only asking for, have only been asking for about $1 million in seed capital to grow the business. So we've way undercut our we've been way conservative in terms of making sure your principals were covered. If we ever had if we ever had a situation in the unlikely event of total loss, we'd be able to liquidate our equipment, which would sell very quickly, and we'd be able to take care of you guys. So you have a unique situation where you're getting video evidence of our day-to-day growth, so you know where your investment dollars are going. You have your principal, which is fully collateralized based on the equipment that we own free and clear, and then you have the opportunity itself to multiply and duplicate through duplication, you know, our skill set, which has been tried and true in that country. So it's an awesome opportunity for anybody that wishes to learn more about it or to engage further. If you guys would like to learn more about it, whoever's interested in moving forward, please contact myself via the email that was sent out to you to register for this webinar, and I will absolutely get back to you via phone call, and we can have a one-on-one dialogue with to answer any of your questions. We have an assortment of video, of history, of documentation, licensing, you name it, we have it to shore up, you know, our presence there in that country and our longevity that's well documented. So it's a unique situation for you guys as investors. It's not the fastest moving vehicle yet, but we promise that once things get going and if we're fully capitalized and we have enough money behind us, that we could, what you saw from last week to what happened, and you can see it visually, you can see, like Armando said, look at the clearing, what happened in just 1 week. If we were to be fully capitalized, imagine that what we can do if we had redundancy with our equipment, we had no breakdowns, and if we did have a breakdown, we'd have a piece of equipment that'd be ready to roll in its place while the other one was getting fixed. It's a little different here in Liberia than it is here in the States, where if something breaks down in Liberia, it takes time to get parts and labor out there to fix, the mechanics out there to fix the equipment, and that slows down production. If we have redundancy with our equipment, if we have the right money behind us, and we have, for example, let me give you a quick example. We have excavator, our 330 excavator, which has hoses on it. In the Liberian heat, those hoses get brittle and they crack. Without a hose cutting machine, which is, I believe roughly about $1,000, and then with the hoses themselves as stock, you're looking at a $10,000 basically investment in making sure that whenever something goes wrong on your excavator, you can cut a piece of hose, put the fittings on to size, and get the piece of equipment back up and running in a timely manner, as opposed to not having that piece of the hose cutting machine there, and now you have to wait for a part to get up there. You have to have it specially cut. It takes 2 or 3 days. You're down. Your production is down. And that's why money is so critical. We know all this. We know what measures we need to have in place to be the stop gaps that we need to have in place to mitigate our exposure to downtime in our production. So if we just collectively, pull our resources together, make sure we have the right amount of monies in place, there's no stopping us, and we're in that special area right now where we're about to get to production even with the capital we have right now, where it's going to be a situation where we're not going to need new investment capital because we're going to use the in-ground assets to propel our business forward without having to take on the burden of interest. 20% interest that we're paying you guys out per month or whatever our production dictates. But at the same time, we're not there yet. So we're playing this. There's a delicate balancing act that we have right now, and so there's still a call to action until we get the wash plant up there and we start washing gravels. But you guys can see our forward progress. You can see that we're making that progress, and that's the evidence that any investor should look at and go, that's what I want to be a part of. I've, like I said, from experience, I've lost almost over $500,000 because I got invested in something I believed in, but I didn't see evidence of its performance. I couldn't see behind the curtain. With what we're doing, we have made that available to every one of you guys. That puts you in a very unique position, to be in a position to be able to look at your investment, how your capital is being spent and utilized, and see the growth. If I gave somebody X amount of dollars and I saw the brush and the bush and the way it was last week, and then I saw the video footage that Armando just showed today, and I'd be like, wow, in 1 week they did all that with my money? Great, but we're going places. Let's do this. So that's I'm hoping everybody's got that mindset. Everybody to date, as far as I know, has been excited about what we're doing, and we appreciate it. But we're here to reinforce that enthusiasm through proof of performance. But as leaders of our organization, we want to continually showcase our forward progress, and we'll be able to do that more often than what we've been doing in the past, because we're actually in the area that we need to be in, and things are shaping up for us. So thank you guys for that, and for joining us tonight. It's like we've been out for almost 2 hours, so why don't we just say good night to everybody and thank everybody for coming on. And Armando, great job. Jay, great job. And I can't wait to see the next video update. It looks like if things progress the way they did in just a week, it should be pretty cool to see what happens on the next video update.
Yeah, it's going to be great to be on the gravels, extracting gravels, and really moving forward.
Cool. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us, and stay tuned to either the PMI chat room or via email. And if you're interested in joining the PMI chat room via Skype, please reach out to my email, premiermineralsintl@gmail.com. It's premiermineralsintl@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link to our PMI chat room, and you can get updated there. We have daily updates, and just various people that are in our group. We'll chat about the offering and so on and so forth. So, okay, everybody, it's Friday night, almost 8 o'clock. Thank you very much for joining. Jay, thank you. Armando, thank you very much.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Okay, everybody, thank you for joining us. We'll till the next time.